Oh, we're live. Hi. I just needed to take a deep breath, but it's okay. I think I did three Zoom calls today. Oh, thank you so much for joining me, you guys. Um, Hi, I am Marcy Billen. I am a real estate agent here in Oklahoma, and today we're talking about the market and how real estate has performed this year in Oklahoma. So, I have my drinks here. I gathered 2 drinks on my short break between my other meeting that I just had. And I dropped one, so that's really fun. So I have this one. Have you guys ever had this? Please let me know if you have. This is Yakult. I love it. My husband buys them at Costco, and we drink them like crazy. They're delicious. They're for your gut health because it's like yogurt. Yeah. So bottoms up. Oh, so good. I've also you have a big echo. Okay. Thanks for telling me, David. Yikes. Let's fix that. Let's fix it. Let's fix it. Oh, I appreciate you saying that. And I don't want this. I don't know why this is here. Hmm. Hmm. How's this? Is this better? Oh, thanks for telling me because I've done entire terrible sound audio before and I don't want to do that. Okay. Thanks, David. Okay. Hopefully this will. I don't know. I have this thing happening. Okay. So David said I fixed my audio. Yolanda's here. Hello. It's really good to see you. And I really want this to go away. I have this thing on the side of my screen. And I don't know why. So we'll see if it stays or not. Okay. So drank my drink. I also have a coconut water because I think I'm pretty dehydrated today. I gather that from the 3 coffees that I had this morning and very little water and serial killer shows that I like to watch. Mm, okay. Talking about the market today and what has happened in Oklahoma. So before I dive into that, if you haven't already, I do have a newsletter that I send out every 2 weeks. Well, really, it's on the second and fourth Thursday of every month. And I really love sending it out and I really love writing it because I love newsletters. I think they're really good and cool and I like ideas. So, yeah. If you want to sign up for that, that link is going to be in the description. And I hope that you do. A lot of you already have, and that makes me really happy. I appreciate that so much. And I love, a like as soon as you hear something that is interesting to you on this show as well. So sweet. I have, we've had this discussion, but I rearranged my office, which I really like it the way that I have it now, except that my husband like scares the crap out of me because my door is at my back. But my cat's cat tree is right here, and they will absolutely be in the screen. I did already feed them because otherwise they'd be super, super mad. So we can, I don't know why that's there. I can't seem to get rid of that. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about this market stuff that we have going on. I usually pull some newspaper articles and stuff. I did not. And there is a reason for that. So if I watch like a YouTube creator talk about the real estate market or, watch on the news, like everyone has something different to say. And I don't really care. I mean, I do care about the nation as a whole in terms of real estate, but ultimately I can glean more from the data that I pull from my market, which is what is important to me. And I think that's what is important to you because you're watching my Oklahoma show. So let's get into it. All right. I was just looking at some houses in Oklahoma City. We're not going to look at many houses today, if any at all, because um, that's not what today's show is about. Next week is going to be home shopping. I am doing 2 lives 2 weeks in a row because Christmas, and I'm traveling later in the month as well. So it's just easier. I can't do lives when I'm at my parents' house because I don't have good internet. It's terrible. Okay. Yes, I drank another one. Cool. All right, so here's what we've got. I need your questions. I have a feeling that you have a lot of questions. And if you don't, make one up, okay? Ah, good stuff. I'm going to share my screen with you. Here we go. Make it bigger so you can see it. We've learned that lesson. Oops, I don't want to print it. Okay. So here's how I look at data. And if you want to go down the rabbit hole of how my brain deals with this, then you have come to the right place. Okay. So I've been a real estate agent here in Oklahoma for 9 years, I believe. Yes. And it's really interesting to watch the market go up and down. So, like, whenever I started my real estate career here in Norman, Oklahoma, let's see, my average price point and was $160,000 for a house. In Norman, it was around $180,000. Usually, whenever you start out in real estate, your average price point is a little bit lower just because you're new. But really, Norman has grown from 180,000 to 280,000 over these 9 years, right? Like it's a lot. It's an insane amount, and it's not as crazy for some markets. Like in some markets, $100,000 growth in your average price point would be absolutely nothing. So it just depends, but you know, so that's something I have to keep in mind because things are different than whenever I started. Also, whenever I started, the year was 2017, and we were coming off of a really tough market because of the recession, the Great Recession. So I was in college whenever the Great Recession hit. 2008, I was a freshman and a sophomore in college, so I was not interested in much of real estate then. Wow. Oh, I don't even know what are you saying wow to, Yolanda? Is it because of how young I am? Yes. So coming off of, I think you're probably talking about the $100,000 jump that we had in our average price point, which I totally get. So yes, it is a lot, definitely a lot. So I was in college during the Great Recession. Oklahoma, it didn't hit as hard as some other places. And the reason for that is because we have never had, and I say this to people all the time, we have a housing shortage in Oklahoma, and we always have. Remember that in Oklahoma, if you don't know the history very well, our main settlement in this part of the state was in 1889. So 10,000 people. That was how many people lived in Oklahoma City in 1889. 10,000. It's not very many because now it's over 700,000. So, know that. The increase in house prices. Yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about. You're referring to. So it's been quite the jump. Definitely. Okay, I'm going to put this here. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to talk through some of these graphs and what I see that they mean for people and how it's like affected things. So the first graph that I have up here, this is for the entire MLS. So this graph on the left side has the sales prices and on the bottom has the years, and then these points represent months. Of course, November is the last month that we have on here because it is still December here. So we're not quite in January yet, but I wanted to do this for you this month because this is kind of what people are talking about right now. So I think it's important. So this is the median. sales price. I'm going to switch over to average. It's pretty different. So average sales price in the entire MLS right now is 314,000. In September it was 293, and then it's jumped up to the 314. However, I don't like looking at it like that. I like looking at it like this. So I'm going to switch to a rolling 3-month because to me, especially with our low numbers of home sales compared to other states, this makes more sense. And this is how I measure everything else. So it makes sense to me to do it like this for a rolling 3 months. So then we're really saying very sustainable at $305,000 for average sales price here in the entire MLS. But let's bring that in closer a little bit because our entire MLS can include some stuff in Tulsa and even as far out west as like freaking Elk City. Like that's insane. So I'm going to fix that. Okay. So let's do this. We're going to take this down and I'm going to type in Oklahoma City, which we all know is a huge amount of land. So our entire MLS, 305,000 average sales price over those 3 months, and Oklahoma City is just under that at 284,000. So some of the reason for that is that Edmond is one of the higher priced areas, and it's not included in Oklahoma City. So that's why. And Norman is also, we have a higher price point than Oklahoma City does also. So that's another reason for that. Okay. And then another thing I want to look at is the overtime situation. So here you can see, and this is 3 years. So you can see in January of 2021, so that would be 8 or 9 months into COVID, our average price point was $238,567 in the entire MLS. And then in August of 2022, the height of the market, it jumped up to 300,000. Okay. So that is more than $50,000 in a price jump for the average. Yeah. Guys, I was so busy and tired during that time. You guys were buying houses like crazy. And it was awesome. And I hope that you made a lot of money. It was a lot of work. You could definitely bid on a lot of homes. And like some people, I was putting in offers on 6 or 7 properties before they won one. All right. Hi. Hey, Michelle. I'm so glad you are listening. Thank you. Okay. So I'm going to add in another area. I'm going to add in Norman because that's where I live. And I'm going to put that here. Norman is all over the place, as you can tell. I still have this on a rolling 3 months, and I'm going to switch this to 5 years. I wonder if my max will give me. There we go. Oh, that's nice. Look at that. Beautiful. We have purple and red and green. Okay. So this is the max, and it's giving me from January of 2011. I was still in college and going all the way to present day. And we have a rolling 3 months of data, which is what I wanted here. So you're like, okay, Marcy, that's cool. What are we looking at? There we go. Hopefully you guys can see that. If you can't, just let me know. Okay. So what I'm looking at here, so I want Norman. So that's the green line. So Norman's average price point or sales price. Okay, cool. I'm glad you can see. In January of 2011 was $175,000. Really low. Like, can you imagine? I wish I would have bought a house then, but I was 22 years old. So yeah. And then we see this sort of steady increase, right? All the way up. And it did, home prices didn't always go up at this time. 2011 was really when things hit badly for Norman. One thing that happened here in Norman is like builders went belly up, when they didn't have any money left and homes would be sitting, things like that. But it wasn't as bad as like some other areas. And you can see that here with these numbers. Like, look at this. So Norman, 175, and then home prices didn't like they went down a little bit here. This is March of 2014. That the average sales price was 172. Like, we're not seeing that big drop in the home prices. It didn't happen, right? It just because we don't have enough houses. That's why. That is why. And it's the same thing with the COVID market. Like, we're not seeing a huge, and we'll see it up here. I'm getting ahead of myself. Um, let's see. So this number right here is from October of 2021. So before the height of the market. So our average price point, sales price here in Norman was $254,000. And then this next like bottom right here is January of 2024. So the beginning of this year. And the average price point was 274. So we're talking from this, let's see, where was I? Here, October 254 to 274. That's $20,000. It's like I wish I could tell you that prices are going to go down, but you can see from this, we have a very steady market here in Oklahoma. This is really common to see for us. Oh yeah, up and up. Yep, that's right, Michelle. Up and up and up. It's not like this up, like a great increase and then a decrease. It's just this steady. That's all it is. That's what it looks like. It's all the time. So it was really funny. I was in a class like a month ago, and the teacher was from San Diego. And she's like, yeah, the market's been really hard for us real estate agents. Means that it takes a long time for a house to sell. That's typically what that means. And that buyers aren't interested in buying because they think that home prices will go down. Okay. That's what it means for us. And so she's like, yeah, the housing market it's gonna improve. It's gonna get better. It's gonna be awesome. And we were like, cool, that sounds fantastic. And then the next day I was meeting with my coach. So like my coach is from Miami, Florida. This teacher was from San Diego, and he's like, it's going to get so much worse. Like, the home prices are going to plummet, and like homes are going to be sitting there forever. They're not going to sell. And I was like, okay, so this is a different story than what I heard yesterday. So it was funny to me, funny in like a sad, horrible way. But yeah, that it was interesting. And that's one of the reasons that I was like, I have to stop reading the news, because you people don't know. You don't know. And everything is about micro markets as well. So let's dig into the micro markets a little bit. All righty. Here's how we're going to do this. We're going to go into new listings. So these numbers, well, that's a fun, it's like an art project. This is new listings. So the amount of new listings in different areas. So I'm going to narrow this down a little bit so we can see. So the entire MLS, and I'm actually going to take that out. I don't want the entire MLS. I just want Oklahoma City, Norman, and I want Edmond. And I'm just doing this to kind of show you the differences. Okay. So I still have a max amount of years. So that goes back to 2011. And I have a 3-month rolling time period. Okay. So for Oklahoma City, we're going to go and we're going to do 250. I don't want to do that. I want to do, can I change this, please? All price ranges. I thought I could change this. Why can't I change this? It's really driving me crazy. I'm going to do this though. Okay, I'm going to do 258 or more. I just want to take that off. Can we please do that? Oh man, it's just going crazy on me. I'll do all price ranges. There we go. Okay. So these are new listings. So whenever this number goes down, and you can see it, this is all seasonal. All these like, oh, it looks like a heartbeat. That's seasonal. So people often don't want to sell in the winter and they want to sell in the summer. So like this is August of 2021 for new listings. And the reason that happens is because people think they're going to put their homes on the market in June, and then it takes them 2 extra months to actually get their home on the market. So that's why it jumps up at that time. And then this bottom is going to be February because it's cold. That's our coldest month here in Oklahoma, typically. So that's why that happens. I'm going to bring this down to 5 years so we can see a little bit better. So what we have right now is, this is November 2024, all price ranges. We have, 2,100, 2,200 new homes on the market in Oklahoma City, and then like 500 in Norman, and Edmond is 1,100. Edmond's smaller than Norman, so I don't know why it's doing that, but it is what it is. I think, and let me have a look at something else here then. Pendings, homes for sale. Let me do this. So this is what I want to see this for Edmond. So this is the month supply. Oh yeah. Okay. So we've all been, this up graph is not fantastic, but it's not terrible. So what this is, on the left side, this is month supply of homes. So it goes down from 0.5, which is half of the month, right? All the way up to 4 on this graph. So in the economic world, anything less than 6 months is a seller's market, meaning a seller is going to have more power because the buyer demand is high, right? So Oklahoma is almost always in a seller's market. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to go back to Max. Okay. So this is all the way back to 2011. So I said 6 months, right? So here's that 6-month mark. So here's where we can see that Norman went all the way up to 7 months of inventory, not crazy. And then back down into the 5-month territory, which means that homes were selling slowly, but they were selling. And that is what I mean by a very steady market here in Oklahoma. Hey, Mr. Miles. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate that. Okay, so I'm going to go back to motivators. I do want to hear your questions. Like, talking to myself is fun, but I know you have questions, so let's hear them. Okay. So you can see here on this graph how the month supply went all the way down to less than a month. This was when life was hard and busy. This is in May of 2021, and then the height of the market in 2022. And then we started climbing out of there. And so November of 2023, I remember trying to sell a couple of houses in November of 2023, and it was harder than I anticipated. So that's when things started to really take a turn. That's that market shift that we have seen. And now we see homes sitting for a little bit longer. So usually when I see this like 3.5 month, amount of time, then for a home, for our inventory, I'm looking at like 45 days average on market, maybe 50. It can get up to 60. It just depends. But that's where pricing is very important. Very, very important. Okay, someone has a comment. So I need to go see. As a Californian, okay, thank you, Mr. Miles. I talk to myself regularly too. It's considered normal, especially when in public. Oh my gosh, I talk to myself all the time in public. I always attributed it to being an only child. I didn't have anyone else to talk to, but maybe, yeah. I talk to myself in Target if I'm by myself. I really try to not, but man, it's hard because I need to have that conversation, I guess. So I understand. Okay. All right. So we jumped over to this month's supply. Hopefully that made sense for you. Um, the point I'm trying to make was that Oklahoma's real estate market is just very steady, because if we looked at this, like even right now, like in Florida, in Miami, their inventory is up to 15 months. That's that I've never seen that. Like never in my life. That's insane. Um, and what the inventory means is if no other listings came on the market, no other homes came on the market today, it would take, like, for instance, right now, it would take 3.5 months in Norman for all the homes to sell. That's what the inventory means. Okay. So if we have 3 months of inventory versus 15 months of inventory, like that's an incredibly long time for everything to sell. All right, I have 2 comments. I need to go grab these. Whoops. All right. Thank you. Okay. Mr. Miles says, how important is it in Oklahoma to have a storm shelter? How expensive can they be to install? Perfect. Great question. I did make an entire video on this, but I am happy to answer it here as well. So in Oklahoma, to have a storm shelter, not everyone does. There are different types. A lot of people have ones that are inside of their garage, and those are the least expensive ones and will protect you. It will save your life. I just got to see someone installing one the other day, which I hadn't seen before. It takes about half a day, and it costs about $3,500 to put one of those in. So it was really interesting to watch. And I think the guys were a little like, oh, she wants to she wants to video us putting this. And I was like, yeah, I do. I really do. And he says that you've noticed it's about 50-50 with the houses that you find. Half have a storm shelter, half don't. That is correct. I don't have one personally. A lot of Oklahomans don't. So yes, and definitely go watch the video. I worked really hard on that. Make a comment too. That'll help me out a lot. Okay. And David says, if you just go outside when the tornado is coming for you and yell at it and raise your arms to make you look big, it'll typically get scared like a bear and leave. That's really true. Honestly, no, it's not. Don't do that. We only do that most of the time. If one's headed our way, I can pretty much bet my neighbors are going to be outside with me looking at this thing. And one thing you have to remember for us is that usually tornadoes occur between the hours of 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. So it's light and we can see. The last time tornadoes happened, which was like 4 weeks ago, it was in the middle of the night, which was super weird. We just don't normally have that. So yeah, it made a big difference. That's funny, David. Mr. Miles, we're talking about Oklahoma and not Florida. Okay. That's awesome. Yes. Yeah. I just watched this video earlier today about this town in like Arkansas. And someone commented that it was in Tornado Alley and that people are moving there. But also know that, like, yes, we may be in Tornado Alley and our summers may be getting hotter. We don't have to worry too much about rising oceans, the rising sea level either. It was something that I just hadn't really thought about. I thought that was interesting. So, and my cat's in here. She got really mad because I left her with my mom for like a week, and she hasn't left my side since then. She loves me. Okay. Number of homes for sale. So I'm jumping back over here. Please interrupt me again if you have questions. All right. This is for all price ranges. I have Oklahoma City here, Norman, and Edmond. So we're looking at total homes for sale by price range, and I have this set on all price ranges. So we can definitely see in April 2022, there were not very many homes on the market. And what happens when there's not many homes on the market and interest rates are really low? Home prices go up and everyone wants a house. So that's where we had like 10 offers on a house, right? Okay. And then we see the market getting a little funky in December of 2022. More homes are going on the market. And then finally up to January 2024. Like, this is what's funny to me is that, like, we'll go back to that here in a second. Interest rates went up and people had really low interest rates on their houses. So they weren't selling. And that's still happening. So the people that are selling, they have to sell. So, yeah. So what we can see back here for Oklahoma City is, hold on just a second, Mr. Miles, is that Oklahoma City had an incredible amount of homes on the market. Okay, so this is kind of weird. We don't pay attention to Edmond and Norman because I just remembered that we had different MLSs at that time. So we can only look at Oklahoma City. So there was just a lot of homes on the market and like people weren't buying them because of the recession. That's what was going on then. And then it just gradually got better here. Okay. Mr. Miles, I'm sitting on my foot. It hurts. Okay. Oh yeah. I've been getting this question a lot. Thank you for asking. So Mr. Miles asks, is there sort of a stigma with selling or renting homes to Californians because of our political stereotypes, let's say? No. I haven't seen it personally. So I just haven't. And maybe some people feel this way, but I think that's more of a Montana thing. Like, I've seen that a lot with, like, the Montana channels that I watch. Like, they're like, don't make this another California." I haven't heard people say that about Oklahoma very much at all. So that's what I've seen. An attitude shift when I talk to some landlords there after they find out I'm from Cali. Really? I guess which landlords are you talking to? Um, yeah. That's funny. They get friendly again when they hear you're from Bakersfield. I think I don't know, man. Like, I don't I haven't seen a problem with it, but then again, like, I'm from Norman. Maybe in small towns there has been a bigger issue with it. I think as long as you can pay and you have a job or like income, then everything should be good. I haven't seen that big of an issue with it. And sometimes I guess I get okay. Okay. So maybe the thing is the driving up of prices. You know, people are like, "Oh, well, Californians are coming in and driving up our prices for our homes." Um, and it's like, yeah, I guess that happens. But the other thing is, and what everyone wanted for so long, especially in the Oklahoma City metro, is to make this a good place to live. And the Oklahoma City Metro, the governments, like everything, we've been working hard on this for decades to make Oklahoma City a good place to live. And it's worked. And whenever you have a good place to live, people want to move there. So this is how it happens. But also, the prices going up means that there's more economy. And like, yeah, it's just, to me, it's great. But anyway, let's see. Yeah, you've mostly been looking in Lawton. Yeah, totally different spot. And I'm not super familiar with Lawton. And you said, I was thinking we'd rather sell local before out of state kind of thought process. I don't know because I don't have that experience in Lawton. That's my answer, I guess, on that one. I just don't. And in Lawton, there's so many people that come in from out of state because of all of the because of the Air Force Base. So I don't know. I I feel like maybe with small-minded people. Yeah. Mhm. But thank you for asking. It's something that I think we'll continue to like question. And I definitely see it with the Montana stuff. So if you watch any of those Montana channels, I see them talk about it all the time. All right, Mark. About 30% of my neighbors are from California and South Oklahoma City. Yep. How do you feel about that? It is common to see California plates here. I mean, in some ways I can't, like, blame them for coming here. Um, yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Yes, you're welcome for yes, it's an interesting cultural shift here in the city. All right, David. That may be partly because during the boom, a lot of Californians were making offers and locking up properties and then backing out. At least my realtor mentioned that in the past, not sure. Yeah, I think I saw that a lot more in like Boise. Um, the Californians that I was working with, like during COVID, which is what, typically what I call the boom, um, they were buying the properties. So that was good, they were buying them. So I definitely get both sides. And like I said, when you make a place a good place to live, when we work really hard on improving our communities, people want to move here. And that's a natural effect, a natural like progression of events whenever we do that kind of work. So I think it's just something that we had to prepare for, and it happened, and here we are, and I have some really great new friends because of it too. So yeah, nice. Okay, we were talking about homes for sale. Okay, let's I want to jump into days on market. I'm gonna skip to average. It's crunching the numbers. Yeah, I forgot that like Norman had its own MLS until uh what, 2016, meaning it was like separated in terms of data from Oklahoma City. So that's part of the like weirdness with this. Okay, Mr. Miles, you promise that if you move to Oklahoma you won't try to flip the state blue. Yeah, because one person can definitely flip an entire state. Absolutely. Well, thank you for saying that. That puts everyone at ease. Okay. So days on market average. This is where we can see like correlations between days on market and the inventory. So we can see here that I'm going to bring this down a little bit to 5 years. So days on market average in September of 2021, the height of the market was 12 days on 12 days to sell a house, and that's a pretty long time. I was seeing mostly like 5, or at least what I was selling. I was still like gonna sell it in like 5 days. And then we see in March of 2024, we have an average days on market of 47. So it feels weird. It feels really weird to have that long, but it's not that long whenever you compare it to this over here of an average of 71 days on market for Norman properties, right? It just feels funky. It's not bad. It's just different. Cool. All right, I've got some questions. How is the Mexican food in Oklahoma? Sharing a border with Texas gives me hope. We have excellent Mexican food, and we don't have as much Tex-Mex as they do in Texas. I have some of my favorite spots here in Norman and some in Oklahoma City. I mean, you can get all Mexican food here. It's fantastic. So, yes, absolutely. Okay. Tanya, our little big city is awesome. I love Norman. Yes, that is a really accurate way of describing Norman. We have a little big city. Moving from Claremore, a town of like 20,000 people, whenever I was 18 or 19, to Norman, a town of, it was like 100,000 at that time, was mind blowing. Mind blowing. It was just different. So, for a lot of Oklahomans, Norman is really big. And for a lot of Californians, Norman is really small. So, yeah. Other states usually don't have that problem with like seeing it in that same way. But yeah, I understand. Cool. Mark. So Mark says there's probably 15 or so brand new homes for sale in my development and 50 more homes currently being built. Yeah, where do you live? Or which builder, you don't have to say where you live. Which builder is probably a better idea. So with new homes are fun because the incentives they're offering are pretty intense. So like I know of a neighborhood and I made a video on this neighborhood last year, and the homes they're offering like $20,000 of incentives. So it's really, really good. Oh, you live in Native Plains. Yeah. So I live in an Ideal Homes neighborhood as well. Yes, there are lots of homes available in Native Plains. I really like that location because like it's an easy drive to Oklahoma City, and you have more, and you're still in Oklahoma City, so you have the Oklahoma City government and mayor and everything. But yeah, that builder is offering a lot of incentives. And I think it's great. And like some of those houses are really cool. Sometimes you have a smaller yard, which not everyone loves. But yeah, I think right now you can really swing a pretty good deal and get most everything that you want in a neighborhood like Native Plains. So if you want to look at that neighborhood, just hit me up because I really like it. Okay, Mr. Miles. Um, Texhoma. Yeah. Tex- Best of both worlds. You know how long it took me to figure out that Texhoma was Texas and Oklahoma? I won't tell you. I just sound stupid. But yeah, I've never been down to Lake Texhoma. I'm not really a lake human, but I do hear it's nice. And one of my friends lives down there, so I understand. Cool. This one I talk to people about a lot. This is percent of list price. Okay. Let me take another drink so I can explain this. And then, yeah. Okay. Cool. So I'm going to do average. All right. Average percent of last list price. This is where we can see how important it is to price a home correctly, because if you don't, people won't even look at it and they definitely will not place an offer. So right now in Norman, we're getting 98.1% of list price. It's pretty dang close to actual list price. There are a few different reasons why people won't try to like offer a lot less on a property. One reason is people are asking for closing costs, which we cannot see in this number. Closing costs just mean you keep more money in your pocket. And then another reason is because they don't want to hurt your feelings. People don't want to hurt your feelings if you're a seller. They won't do it. Because once a buyer puts in an offer on a property, they are emotionally connected to that property. And so to lose it at that point becomes a very difficult conversation and something to come to grips with. It's not a business decision for most people. So it's just really tough, if that makes sense. For Oklahoma City as a whole, we're seeing that still that 97.6% for that average list price, last list price, percent of average, last list price. Okay, so if we go back up here, to June of 2022, height of the market, we see 101, 102% of list price, which was really common to see. And really, we should be seeing it right now. I'm a fan of listing slightly under market value. And what that does for sellers is to create demand around their house and get more people looking at it. Everyone want a deal. Everyone wants a deal. So that's like really important to people. This is a really good conversation. And I very much appreciate everyone chiming in. So I will see you guys next week when we'll shop for a few houses together, which is always fun. So yeah, let me see, Mr. Miles. If I do move to Lawton, I can go to you as well. Yes, if you will go ahead and send me an email, please, and we can set up a time to chat and we'll get you connected with the right realtor. I have a really good one for you there in Lawton, so that'll be really good. Go ahead and send me an email and I will get you connected. All right. Yep, you have a great night too, Miss Mark. Thank you for joining again. It's always good to see you. All right, guys. Bye.